Good morning, everybody. Happy weekend, and I hope you're all getting in the festive spirit of things. I was going to do some content today about your higher self, what it is, and why it's important to connect with it. So your higher self means different things to different people. And to me, higher self means accessing your soul and your soul wisdom. So your higher self is like your best friend. It's like your comfy grandmother who's there to guide you because of her wise experience. So it's your own soul wisdom that you've brought in from incarnation after incarnation, and it's all the facets of character and experiences and knowledge that you've picked up along the way that is available to you at any time. So to me, your higher self is that little voice that you hear that isn't your human self, that isn't from necessarily the experiences you've had this lifetime. It's something with a far higher perspective that can see everything you've been through, everything you're going through, and the direction you're most likely to go. Maybe your destiny path versus your fate path, which in my mind, your fate path can be the path that we go down if we give into fear, or if we stay on a conditioned path, or if we're trying to fit in or doing what we think we must do. That's the fated path that's going to happen. I call it the human path, whereas the destined path is the soul path. It's actually reaching your highest potential, being everything that you can be, and being everything you're meant to be on this planet, playing your part, being able to attract the people that you need, your soul tribe, to have the experiences that your soul needs. So there are two paths you can take there, and I think the higher self is the wisdom that already knows what the conscious mind can't remember. So it's the all-knowing from the moment you're born, that the soul, the higher self, kind of knows the way your path is mapped. But because we have free will, which is a great thing, we can make choices along the way that might bring us off our path, might bring us closer into alignment with our true path. We might dabble in and out, and I've dabbled in and out. So I've tried to have a human life. It didn't work. I've tried many times. I've tried to have a soul life. It's quite tough in other ways, and I've dabbled in and out. But it's my higher self, the guidance, the voice that I can hear, or even sometimes the silence, just the knowing, when I give myself space and time to just feel what's going on, where am I going, what's my intuition telling me. That's the higher self guidance. It's the knowing. Sometimes we might get information from the higher self through a dream. Sometimes we might ask our higher self, whatever we want it to be, to give us guidance, and then in our human waking life we might have an experience that kind of answers what we were asking our higher self. So the higher self will come through many different ways, and people often ask, how do I know when it's my higher self? Well, it takes a lot of practice. It's actually about you trusting you. I could tell you anything, but at the end of the day, you've got to feel it inside. Does this feel right? Does this path feel right? Does this decision feel right? Not just from a logical place. Logic has great potential. It's really, really important safety thing that we need, but sometimes we have to listen to another voice that may not have evidence, may not have proof. It might just be a deep knowing or coincidences going on around us which are trying to guide us, and understanding that the higher self doesn't prove things. It doesn't go through that domain of getting information to you. It just is. It just does. How simple is that, to live a life with just a knowing, just going on what feels like a true gut feeling, and not worrying about there's no evidence why I should be doing that, or is that risky, or is that safe? Because the higher self doesn't put you in risky situations. It also doesn't risk assess like the mind does. And the mind can get so good at risk assessing, it can take you on the wrong path anyway, because you might be coming from hypervigilance, a fear of the past repeating, all kinds of dynamics that isn't really the highest level of guidance. It's more fear-based, which I feel is sometimes the path of fate, than soul-based, which is just trust that what is going to be right for you, no matter how it looks. So that's the surrendering of the mind. Not the easiest thing to do in the world, but you've got the whole of your life to practice it, and then some if you really want to come and do it again. Choice is yours. But listening to your higher self, maybe just find a quiet 5 minutes every now and again. Just tune into how you feel about something, asking for guidance. Sometimes you'll get prompts, or sometimes quickly those prompts will come from outside of you in your waking reality, because you've put the intention up there, show me a sign. And so many times people say to me that they ask for a sign and say, I don't get anything back. And then we look a little bit deeper, and I'm like, you did get quite a few signs back actually, but you've got to be available to hear them. And the higher self will work in really subtle ways, because it doesn't want to blow you out the water every 5 seconds. It doesn't want to scare you. Some huge event happens, or some real big mystical encounter, because you probably wouldn't act on that either. So It's about you connecting to you, because deep down you already know all your answers. You already know what you're meant to be doing. I take that on board too. Have a good weekend.